they can be in the stroller, and for part of the jog, they can jog alongside of you. Take them with you when it cools off. And I know that, bedtime for little ones is 7 o'clock, and it's still 95 degrees at 7 o'clock. But if there's a way to fit it in, if it's an overcast day, and you don't have to do the half marathon, run a mile and then come back. Just, keep it safe for the baby, but also take them with you and let them see, be a role model, start it early. This is part of our life, and this is what we do, mom and dad. This is what the kids are going to do as well, for fun, for fitness, to be together as a family.
So part of my practice and my personal life is working as an aging athlete. And one of the things that I'm hearing from the caller, from the person writing in, is a little bit of remorse about, am I going to get back to where I was? Am I going to be able to do the half marathon? Try a new activity. If you try a new activity, it'll always be your best day when you either get on a bike, or I haven't tried it yet, pickleball or something like that. Something new will sort of open up an idea where you're not sort of comparing yourself to your former self. So as we age, if you could get it'll be the best game of pickleball you've ever played if you've never played before. So try something new, be creative, and I love what Dr. Keith is saying, and take the kids along. It also entrains them to know that this is part of life. We move.
So you're saying I should put away my desire to regain rock climbing magna from when I was 19? I mean that seriously. Like, it's actually quite inspiring. Now listen, we're rounding towards the close of this conversation, so I've heard a lot of really useful things. That first of all, any kind of additional movement is going to be good. That perhaps we should be more mindful about, try to be more mindful about finding those spaces in life. Maybe even incorporate just being more active, physically active in the things we're already doing. All of these things can make a positive difference. But in the final minute that we have, Professor Keith, I want to give you the last word here, because you mentioned about health equity. And, we already know that health outcomes for Black and Latino people in particular in this country are quite different than for white Americans, for a whole variety of reasons. There's safety, there's access to good medical care, racism, food deserts, etc. Given that how broad the impacts or drivers of health inequities are, does this question of exercise still play an important role, or should we be focusing on other aspects of life to help close those inequities?
Physical activity to achieve health equity is the low-hanging fruit. Most people can be physically active. It doesn't cost anything except for time and energy that we need to spend. It's available to everyone, and that is where the focus should be. Medicine is expensive, health care is expensive, physical activity is free. It is the most sensical way to achieve health equity.
Well, Professor Nicole Keith, a kinesiology professor at Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I'll also try to stand for future shows, I promise you. And Dr. Eddie Phillips, Associate Professor at Harvard Medical School and co-host of the Food We Need to Talk podcast. Dr. Phillips, thank you so much.
Thank you, Magna, and thank you, Dr. Keith.
I'm Magna Chakrabarty. This is On Point.
On Point is a production of WBUR Boston and is distributed by APM, American Public Media.
Support for On Point comes from the listeners of WBUR Boston. From Indeed, a hiring platform designed to streamline the hiring process. Indeed works to help businesses attract, interview, and hire candidates in one place. More at Indeed.com/NPR. And Prompt.com, with a mission to help students stand out in their college applications through one-on-one application and essay coaching, working with students to help them get into their top choice colleges. More at Prompt.com.
Detroit Today, we talk a lot about democracy, including in this conversation with Associate Professor Zach Gershberg about why our democracy is particularly vulnerable during the social media age.
The one thing about citizens having access to publishing or broadcasting on their own is you have this QAnon conspiracy that alleges the craziest human trafficking stories.
Listen to Detroit Today at 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. Monday through Friday on 101.9 WDET.
WDET is supported by the Aretha Franklin Amphitheater, presenting saxophonist Kamasi Washington with special guest Detroit's own piano prodigy Black Bach, together for one night only, Wednesday, August 31st. Tickets and information at thearetha.com.
Good evening. It's 8:59 and you're listening to 101.9 WDET FM, Detroit's NPR station. Your connection to news, music, and conversation. I'm Eli Newman with the weather forecast. Tonight, mostly clear skies with lows near 60. Tomorrow, there's a chance of thunderstorms and showers, otherwise sunshine with highs near 80. And on Thursday, more sun with highs in the mid-80s. Coming up next, 1A. You're listening to WDET. It's 9 o'clock.
A major new legislative package tackles taxes, climate change, and drug prices. How will it change what you pay for meds? From WAMU and NPR in Washington, this is 1A. Hi, I'm Jen White. Today on 1A, we start with the Inflation Reduction Act. It's got inflation in the title, but a big chunk of it has to do with healthcare. Americans on Medicare can expect to see lower prices for some prescription drugs, including insulin. What else will it do, and how quickly will it get done? We discuss. Then, sickle cell disease is a huge problem, especially for Black Americans. Treatment has typically been sparse, but renewed attention and a big funding infusion is changing the game. We want to hear from you, especially if you have sickle cell. Email us at 1a@wamu.org.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Spear. Congressional Democrats are taking a victory lap after President Biden signed legislation that will cut health care costs and curb climate change while reducing the nation's deficit. NPR's Windsor Johnston reports the bill, dubbed as the Inflation Reduction Act, is a major win for the party ahead of the midterm elections.
It took more than a year for Democrats to reach a compromise on the legislation. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer called the signing of the bill nothing short of amazing.
This bill will endure as one of the greatest legislative feats in decades. It'll lower costs, create millions of good-paying jobs, and is the boldest climate bill ever.
For the first time, the new law will allow Medicare to negotiate the price of prescription drugs, which could save middle-income families thousands of dollars each year. It will also offer Americans tax credits and rebates to switch over to electric appliances and electric vehicles. Windsor Johnston, NPR News, Washington.
As expected, a number of western states are being told they will need to rein in their water use or face the potential of even more cutbacks as a severe drought continues in the west. The announcement affecting Arizona and Nevada came out today as officials are predicting levels at Lake Mead, the largest U.S. reservoir, will plummet even further.
We driving on the west side, 945 U.S. should be light. I say alright, that will be the life. I think I like you kinda enticing. So you wanna know what it's looking like? That's justified, cause it's been some time. I don't know. See, I'm hella hip this time. Ain't going down with no shit this time. Cut the bullshit this time. Crazy on some lips, could you kiss me blind? No, not this time. See, I'm hella hip this time. Ain't going down with no shit this time. So cut the bullshit this time. Crazy on some lips, could you kiss me blind? No, not this. Don't play me like a fiddle. Keep another love with me up in the middle. No, stage you like a true one. I'm a clever one, I'm up on all your rhythms. No, stage you like a true one. compromising. I'd rather sleep with no one beside me.
No cap, this one was dead, but it just hit me one for a minute. I'm like, damn, thank you. These are all dead. But I'm about to eat. I was about to work on this one, but I'm about to eat. So I guess I'll just catch you guys later because I'm about to eat. So okay.